is Barakat Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKodash. Double honors to the head apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to brothers on the highways and byways, doing the works sincerely and faithfully, and continually fighting that good fight of faith, Lord willing. We have found that number to be delivered, and likewise, sisters who truly trust and believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, may you be watched over as well. All right. So I'm going to get right on into it. I'm going to start with the book of Matthew, the 19th chapter. Now, I'm going to get right to the points. I'm going to start at about 23. Now, this is the story when the rich man came to Yahweh Shai asking, what must he do to obtain eternal life? And the Lord gave him some instructions. But the instructions that was given, the rich man didn't like because it involved his possessions. All right, so let me start at verse 23. It says, Then said Yahweh Shai unto his disciples, Verily I say unto you, that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. And again I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Now, why would he say that? What was this parable all about? All right, so in essence, it was understood that a man with riches and great possessions is not going to be looking for the truth. Is not going to be, desiring to see the, to deal with things concerning the spirit, because those possessions got this word choked. The possessions choked the word. And even into this day, into this kingdom, all right, you have many Israelites out there. Many Israelites who have abundance, primarily the entertainment world, sports arenas, these Israelites. All right. There's not many, if at all, any Israelites out there who gained wealth by bare bones, ground roots, hard work. So that being said, the Lord gave the parable that it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle, all right, than it is for a rich man to enter into the kingdom, because the rich man is not going to want to part with his ways. And this is why the rich man in this parable went away sorrowful, because he didn't want to give up his possessions that he was told to go sell. All right. So let's continue on, because the point is coming up that I want to make. All right. And it says, verse 25, when his disciples heard it, they were exceedingly amazed, saying, who then can be saved? All right. And this is what I want to really focus in on. What the disciples asked. Who then can be saved? All right. And it's a great question even to this time period. Because we here at Great Millstone and many other, brothers in many other camps, they truly teach that salvation is strictly and only for the children of Israel. The saving is only for the children of Israel. All right. But because of the way things are taught in this world, in this kingdom, they preach and teach that salvation has been opened up to everybody. So let's read on a little bit more. Verse 26. But Yahweh Shai beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai all things are possible. Then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahweh Shai said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in his throne of his glory, ye shall also sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. All right. So all in all, the question being posed, who then can be saved? Yahweh Shai just gave you a great answer. Those who follow him in the regeneration will sit on thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. All right. So this point is letting you know that they who are going to be saved are they of the house of Israel. Now, you may not want to agree with that, You may not want to believe that, but it doesn't matter, because it's the truth that matters and the true understanding that matters. That's important to know. All right? So there, we're going to ride this line of who then can be saved, right? Let's go to Luke chapter 2 and getting right to the points here, right? Now, this is after the birth of Yahushua. And again, I'm going right to the points. Luke 2:34. It says, And Simeon blessed them and said unto Mary, his mother, Behold, this child is set for the fall and rising again of many in Israel, and for a sign which shall be spoken against. All right? So when Simeon saw the Lord, he held him up. He was thankful that his eyes seen. Now he was able to go into the grave, full, because his eyes were set upon the Savior, right? But he makes a very bold statement here. Behold, this child is set for the fall and rising again of many in Israel. Okay? It doesn't speak about the rising of anybody in any other nation but the children of Israel. It doesn't mention nothing about the other nations falling. Okay? So again, who then can be saved? Simeon's statement about the Lord to Mary was that the Lord was set for the rise and fall of many in Israel. So if all these other nations can be saved, you have to truly pull out the scriptures and you have to prove that point. All right? And you just can't use the word Gentile. You just can't use the word Greek, because these are the only true words that you people try to use to breathe life into your statements. All right? So who then can be saved? Let's continue on. This is Mark 10, right to the point, verse 45. It says, For even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many. Now, Simeon said he was set for the rise and fall of many in Israel. So again, this many that we're looking at, that the Lord is going to give his life as a ransom for, are the children of Israel. Okay? That's who the many is referring to. The children of Israel and the children of Israel only. Excuse me. So there you have, back-to-back scriptures that mention the word many, as though Simeon had mentioned he was going to be, set for the rise and the fall of many in Israel. And it continues on to this very chapter that we're reading in the book of Mark. All right? So if the question is asked, who then can be saved, you got to understand who the Lord was sent for, who the Lord was giving his life for a ransom for. Okay? And even in that chapter, it mentions the Gentiles, right? But understand, man, when you do the research and you do the digging and you get into etymology of the words, you get into the Greek words, you'll come to know and understand that all this is surrounding the children of Israel. All right? And again, whether you people want to believe it or not, hey, that's on you. But it makes no sense for all these scriptures that are being brought out concerning the children of Israel, concerning the Lord giving a ransom, concerning the Lord being the set for the rise and fall of many in Israel. All right? For the Lord telling his disciples, that he has come for the children of Israel. Nobody else has bring, how should I put this? No other nation, I should say, has stepped up to the plate to come to the aid of Israel's defense. All right? Even after the Lord was crucified. So let's continue on. We're going to get to that. And this is Matthew 19. And let me see. This is Luke 2. Where do I want to start here? Let me get down to the nitty-gritty here. Let me jump down to 33 or 34 here. 33. Yep. Did we get through this already? Yeah, come. We just read that. Salakia. We just read that. Salakia. This is Romans 11 and 26. And it says, and so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. Now Jacob is what? He's the progenitor of the 12 tribes. So as we read here in Romans, the Apostle Paul is giving a statement. And so all Israel shall be saved. Right? Now, if the Apostle Paul was set up as the apostle to the Gentiles, right? And he's running around telling all these Gentiles, matter of fact, let's go, let's do this. Let's go to the previous chapter. Let's go to chapter 10. All right? Let's go to chapter 10. And it says, brethren, my heart's desires and prayers to Yahweh for Israel is that they might be saved. All right? So the Apostle Paul saying these things to who? Israelites. Why would he go to the heathen and profess to the heathen that his heart's desires and prayers to the Most High is for Israel? Why would he say that? If he was speaking to the actual other nations, he wouldn't be, instead of telling these nations that he's more concerned in sending his prayers up for the children of Israel. One would hear that and say, well, why the hell are you talking to me? Why you giving me this information about the children of Israel, and you supposed to be going to the Gentiles and bringing them back into the fold? So that has to beg. You have to ask a question now. Why is it that Apostle Paul is so adamant on telling people about his desires and his prayers to the Lord is for Israel? And again, the point being made and the point being established is, who then can be saved? And the Apostle Paul said what? That they might be saved. Israelites. Okay? And then the Apostle Paul goes on to get into the ignorance of the Israelites who didn't know any better, how they were trying to do their own thing. All right, so let's go back to chapter 11. Let's go back to chapter 11, and let's see what time we got. Okay, are we doing all right? Let's back down to 26. And it says, so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer. And this is what we're looking for. People like to talk about deliverance. People like to talk about the rapture in the Christian world. They like to talk about these things. All right? But when they speak about these things, they like to act as if these things were planted for everybody to take hold of. Okay? Which isn't the truth. Now, verse 27, it says, "For this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins." Who is it referring to? The seed of Jacob. All right? And again, this isn't rocket science, man. This is not rocket science. But you Christians out there, you fake pastors and preachers and whoever else tries to lay hold of this thing, you understand what's being said when it's broken down to you the right way. You understand it, but it cuts so deep. It cuts you so deep that you can't accept it. You don't want to accept the things that the prophets tell you. The men of the Lord, we tell you these things. You can't accept it because it just doesn't go with the narrative that was painted for you. And that narrative is that what? Jesus died for everybody. You know? And again, verse 27, where Paul makes a good point here also, it says, "For this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins." All right? The sins, when a man speaks of sins, those words belong to the children of Israel. Essentially, because Moses was set up and put in place to give the laws, statutes, commandments unto Israel. And we now know and understand that a sin is a transgression of those things that Moses came down with. All right? So let's continue on. Now, I typed in this, right? The Apostle Paul's last recorded missions. All right? And the last of his missions, as it states here, was probably roughly between 64 and 67 AD, right? Now, he had several missions, and in those missions, he converted a lot of people through the preachings of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? So I'm going to say this. During the time of 70 AD, when Jerusalem was besieged, right? Where were all these individuals that were converted, who were non-Israelites, according to what you people say? Where were they? Why didn't anybody come up to Jerusalem? Why didn't anybody, come together and fight for Jerusalem after finding out that they could receive salvation? Why? Where was everybody at? It's not written anywhere in the scriptures that, the Hamites who may have been converted, the Moabites who may have been converted, anybody else who was probably converted. Nobody came to Jerusalem to seek out the helping and the guiding and the protection of Israel, right? And you know why that is? Because during the time of 70 AD, it was Jerusalem that was being besieged, and there was Israelites that were being taken out. So nobody came to Jerusalem because all those people who had then converted, who had been woken up, were Israelites. They weren't going back there to help out, because what was noised abroad about the taking of Jerusalem was that the Israelites were being slaughtered pretty much. So therefore, those Israelites who probably received the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai knew and understood that certain things were happening unto the Israelites up there in Jerusalem. So therefore, they stayed far and wide away. All right? And through the course of time, many Israelites continued back into, taking on different philosophies, different lifestyles, different doctrines, So that's another quick point to understand. Because you figure the Apostle Paul, by the time he got done around 67 AD, all right, Jerusalem went down, at the start of 69 into 70, and therefore nobody came for nobody came for help Israel, nobody came to Jerusalem. None of these people that were, of the other nations or the Gentiles, if you will, nobody came up, nobody cared. These other nations didn't give a damn because it was no concern to them. And the ones who were converted, who went woken back up, they knew better as well, because it was like, well, this shit, I'm an Israelite. I bring my ass around there, they're gonna get me too. All right. So that being said, who then can be saved? The children of Israel. The children of Israel only. Right? So we went through a few scriptures to back those things up and solidify the fact that Yahushua was not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel, as it is written. All right? So again, the time of Jacob's trouble is about to happen. All right? And all you people who profess that you're spiritual Israelites, you've come back to the Lord, you're going to receive the salvation. Well, let's see where you're going to be during the time of Jacob's trouble. Let's see who truly rises up. You so-called Gentiles, if you will. Let's see you rise up and defend the children of Israel during the time of Jacob's trouble. I can guarantee you, ain't a damn soul coming to help. Nobody. Because again, it's not going to concern you. Right? And on top of that, you so-called spiritual Israelites who become spiritual Israelites, let's see where you are. Let's see if the persecution hit you too. All right? So all that being said, Lord willing, is edifying. I'm going to come back on another one. I'm going to say shalom for now.